If you already tried this, the answer won't be the technique. There's a belief installed deep inside of you, before you even realized it was there, that cancels everything you do on the outside. Today you're going to understand what that belief is and how to flip that switch. But before we get into it, do me a quick favor. Subscribe to this channel, because here we talk about manifestation with logic, no empty mysticism, no fluff, for people who actually want to understand what's blocking their own life. And hit the like button, because that helps this video reach more people who are out there trying to manifest without knowing there's an invisible block behind everything. You visualize, you affirm, you try to keep your vibration high, and even so, something inside you knows it's not working the way it should. It's not that you gave up, you keep trying. The problem is the results don't change. And then comes the question most people never say out loud. Is the problem me? It's not lack of effort, it's not lack of faith, and it's not because you don't deserve it. What's happening is more quiet than that, and that's exactly why it's so hard to see. Think about this. If you look at your financial life, and you see that money comes in but disappears before you can do anything different with it, that pattern that keeps repeating isn't bad luck. A recurring pattern is data. It's information about what's operating on the inside, not about what's happening on the outside. What no one ever told you is that there are beliefs installed since you were a child. Before you even had the vocabulary to question them, operating right now, in real time, while you're trying to change your life. You didn't choose them. They were placed there without your consent. You're not broken. You're programmed in a way that's incompatible with what you're trying to manifest. And here's the part most people will never discover. The problem isn't what you do, it's what's running while you do it. But before we get to the solution, I need to show you something that's probably making everything worse without you realizing it. Most people, when they notice manifestation isn't working, do the same thing. They increase the dose, more affirmations, more visualizations, more techniques, another method, more persistence, and the result? Still the same, sometimes worse. Not because the techniques don't work, they do work. The problem is you're using the right tool in the wrong place. Imagine you're in a car with the parking brake on, and you press hard on the gas. The engine works, the gas burns, the car shakes, but it doesn't move. You can press harder, shift gears, try again. The problem was never the engine. It was the brake that was stuck. That's exactly how it works when you apply visualization and affirmations without first addressing what's blocked on the inside. The technique has real potential, but it's operating on an incompatible foundation. So instead of moving forward, you just spin in place. There's another sign that reveals the block with total clarity. When you visualize or affirm and then immediately start checking, did it work? Did anything change? That behavior isn't carefulness. It's disbelief disguised as diligence. And your subconscious registers all of it as confirmation that you don't truly believe it's going to work. The more you try without unblocking, the more your internal system confirms. This isn't working for me. And then you try harder, and the system confirms it again. It's not your fault. Nobody taught you this difference. But understanding it is what changes everything. The problem was never the technique. It was what was running underneath it. So if the technique isn't the problem, what is? There's a truth behind all of this that almost nobody stops to see. If it's not the technique that's blocking things, what is it? The answer is in a place most people were never taught to look. There's a fundamental difference between what you think and what you believe. Thought is what you decide to put in your head. I am prosperous. Abundance flows to me. You can think that consciously, with intention. But belief is something else. Belief is what you keep feeling is true, even without wanting to. It's what operates underneath without needing permission. Think of an iceberg. Positive thinking is the visible tip. You see it, you control it, you shape it. The limiting belief is the mass below the surface. You can't see it. But it's what determines the real direction of the ship. And how are those beliefs formed? Through repetition and emotion, especially when you were a child, before you had enough critical awareness to question what was being installed. A child who grew up hearing things like, money is hard to come by, rich people are just born that way, That's not for people like us, didn't hear an idea. They heard a law, repeated hundreds of times, with real emotion. And the brain recorded it as reality, not as opinion. This creates a very specific invisible mechanism. Someone who grew up in a financially scarce environment, when they come across a real opportunity for abundance, doesn't see it as an opportunity. The internal system reads it as a threat, something outside the familiar pattern and therefore dangerous. That's not weakness. That's survival programming. Think of the operating system on your phone. You can install a brand new app, cutting edge, packed with features. But if the system underneath is incompatible, the app won't run. It's not the app's fault. It's a compatibility issue at the foundation. Manifestation works exactly the same way. You don't manifest what you think. You manifest what you assume to be true, what stays true for you at a deep level, even when you're not paying attention. If on the inside you keep operating from a place of scarcity, that's the frequency you're transmitting. And that's what keeps showing up in your reality. The problem isn't what you think. It's what you assume without even realizing you're assuming it. And here's what matters. This is not your destiny. Programming can be updated. Belief isn't stone, it's a pattern. And patterns can be overwritten. Now that you know what's blocking you, the question is, how do you change it? That's what I'm going to walk you through right now. But first, one quick thing. If what you just understood made sense, that the block is at the level of belief, not technique. There's an ebook that goes deeper into exactly this process of identifying and replacing the beliefs that are holding back your manifestation. It's the material I'd recommend for anyone who's tired of spinning in place and wants to start working at the right level. The link is in the description, but now let's get into what you can actually do today. The first thing that needs to change isn't the technique, it's the order. Most people try to manifest and then try to believe. They visualize the result, affirm what they want, and hope the belief shows up along with the effort. But it works the exact opposite way. The right order is: first, identify the block, then replace the installed belief. And only then does the technique start operating on compatible ground. It sounds simple when you put it like that. But it's a complete reversal of the logic almost everyone uses. And there's a foundation for this that has nothing to do with mysticism. Your brain has the ability to create new circuits. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reshape patterns of thought through conscious repetition and emotion. Belief isn't destiny, it's a pattern. And patterns can be overwritten. Your brain isn't stone, it's plastic. It can be remolded. But here's the detail most people skip. Before you install a new belief, you need to know exactly which old belief is currently running. Not a guess, a map. Because if you don't know the exact belief, you're trying to overwrite something undefined. The new affirmation floats without anchoring to any real pattern. It has no impact. It doesn't transform anything. Once you've identified it, then the replacement work begins. And here it works like a trail in the forest. The old trail is worn in, easy to walk, automatic. The new trail needs to be walked repeatedly, with intention, with emotion, with consistency, until it becomes the natural path. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. You didn't choose the programming you received. But from this point forward, you can choose what you install. What changes everything isn't a new technique. It's the order in which you do things. Now that you understand the logic, let me show you how this works in practice and what you can start doing today. Let's get into what you can do right now. Start with observation. Grab a notebook and write down the financial results that keep repeating in your life, even when you try to change them. Don't analyze yet, just observe. These recurring patterns are the surface of the block, the evidence of what's operating underneath. Then you go deeper. Set aside 30 minutes, no screen, no distractions. Start remembering how money was treated in your childhood. What your parents said about money, how they felt about it, what was considered normal in your home. No judgment, just observation. That's where the deepest beliefs live. You won't find the belief by writing a new affirmation. You'll find it by going back to where it was installed. And then comes the most revealing question you can ask yourself. It's not what do I want? It's what's the worst that could happen if I actually get what I want? Write the answer without filtering it. Because in most cases, the block isn't about not deserving it. It's about the fear of what comes with abundance. Responsibility, visibility, losing relationships. Your subconscious may be protecting you from what you consciously say you want. That question reveals the real fear. Once you have that map, then the replacement begins. You write the replacement belief with specificity and emotion, not something generic but specific to what you identified. And you read it out loud every day, morning and night. Out loud, because the brain processes differently what you narrate to yourself. Hearing your own voice, speaking a new truth, activates something that silent reading doesn't reach the same way. And there's something that will come up during the process that you need to know about in advance. The urge to check the result. Every time you feel the impulse to see if something changed, remember that impulse is the signal of disbelief. Keep the focus on the process, not the result. Someone who truly believes doesn't need to keep checking. The most revealing question you can ask isn't what do I want? It's what's the worst that could happen if I actually get it? Now that you have what to do, you need to understand what to expect, because most people quit exactly when they're closest to changing. Most people who start this process expect the first thing to change to be their bank balance. And when the balance doesn't change right away, they think it's not working, but that's not how it happens. What changes first is the internal state. Before the money arrives, before the opportunity shows up, you'll notice a more subtle shift. Less anxiety when the subject of money comes up. More clarity in decisions. A sense of peace that wasn't there before. Those are the first signs that the unblocking is happening on the inside. Chon comes in layers. And whoever quits early will never know what they were about to become. The most critical moment of the process isn't when you start. It's when the initial discomfort begins to ease, because that's exactly when most people stop. Not from lack of results. From lack of patience to let the process solidify. Whoever pushes through that point passes the only real obstacle in the whole process. And to close things out, let me give you a simple plan. Because information without direction just becomes another video you watched and forgot about. The plan is simple. Start today by writing down 3 childhood memories about money. How money was talked about, how it felt, what was considered normal in your home. No analysis, just notes. Tomorrow, take what you wrote. Identify the limiting belief that most closely matches the pattern you're living today, and write the replacement belief right below it. Specific, with emotion. For the next 30 days, read it out loud every day, morning and night. Don't skip, don't check for results, just the process. And there's one thing I want to ask before you go. Head to the comments and write this. I break free from the block of scarcity. I deserve abundance. Write it out, the full thing. Because a public declaration activates commitment at a level that silent thinking doesn't reach. You're not just leaving a comment. You're telling your subconscious that the decision has been made. You have the map now. The next step isn't easier. It's clearer. If you watched all the way to here, you now understand what was holding you back. It wasn't the technique. It was what was running underneath it. A belief installed before you had the awareness to question it. That understanding already shifts the angle. But understanding alone doesn't change a pattern. That's why the channel's ebook exists. The video gave you the map. The ebook walks you through the territory with structure, progression, and the complete exercises for anyone who wants to go beyond the diagnosis and start transforming what's installed. Whoever stops at the diagnosis keeps knowing the problem without changing the result. The next step is in the description. Tell me in the comments. What was the biggest insight you got from this? What belief did you identify that might be blocking your manifestation? Write it out, because reading what you write helps me understand what's worth going deeper on in the next videos. Subscribe to the channel, because here we talk about manifestation with logic every week for people who actually want to understand, not just consume content. And if you know someone who's been trying to manifest and can't figure out why it's not working, send them this video. Sometimes the right insight arrives through the right channel at the right moment, Good night, manifestors. See you in the next one.